Alright, so I've got this rifle that I've had for several years now. Never shot it, never even had an optic on it. I bought it used. Some of you may know what it is, most of you won't. They just were not a popular rifle here in the States at all. So this is a Mauser M96 American straight pull. So straight back, straight forward. They are phenomenal guns. I've got two. This one is in 7mm rim mag, and I've got one in 270. And I've killed some stuff with the one in 270. This one, the trigger's just a little bit better than the 270, and you know, bam, right? They're just so good. And a lot of people will be like, "Oh, don't dry fire your rifle." You know what? I don't care. So this one has some dings. It's got a good walnut stock on it. You know, they'd be just phenomenal if they had came with a detachable AI setup. It's so good. But this, you know, so this one's a 3-round blind mag. You know, it's polymer here, so they weren't terribly expensive when they were new. But they're neat, you know, so if you see one, I highly recommend them. I probably wouldn't pay any more than like $650, $700 for one. But to me, they're just too cool. If you've got the extra money, why not? And they shoot pretty good. At least the 270 does. That's the only one I've shot. This one hasn't been shot. But it does use that Remington 700 platform, so I can use my extra tally base. I was going to go over some rings. I use the tallies. They come like that there. The tally lightweights a lot. I think for 50 bucks, they're kind of hard to beat. But the lowest that I would go as far as quality goes, Weaver used to make these made in USA pick rings and Picatinny rings, and they weren't bad. They're not great though. But you could get those for about 30 bucks. And that would have been the very bottom of the barrel as far as I'm concerned. The Tika ring, the rings that Tikas come with are trash. Just get rid of them, DX them. I've got some worn rings. So these are worn split rings. The Tikas have a spot for a recoil lug milled into the receiver. So, you know, that might prove to be a bit of an advantage. I'm not really sure. But these worn rings, other than being heavy, they're really, really good. Here's the tallies. And when you go, if you lose the box or whatever, but even so, even if you don't lose the box, if you take a piece of tape and run it, put the screws on the inside, take a piece of tape, put it over there, then you won't lose the screws. Like I did on another set. Why I didn't do that, I don't know, but normally I'm pretty good about that. So the warns aren't bad. The tallies are pretty good. And what I consider to be a damn good scope ring, and the only thing that I'll buy from Vortex are the rings. These, I believe, are made in Nebraska. This is the Pro Series ring. I've got several sets of these. You have to spend really a lot more money in order to get just a little bit better. So the PMR rings are also excellent quality. These are made by Seekins. As far as I know, I've got Seekins and a few sets of PMRs, and you wouldn't be able to convince me that there's any difference other than what's etched in the cap. They are identical. Even the boxes are similar. So the PMR rings, you can sometimes get these on eBay for about 70, 80 bucks. And for that money, they're the best. You know, these, I've seen these as low as like 40. And for that money, they're the best. You know, I don't know that you're going to get a whole lot better with these over these. So if you've got a few rifles that you need to put scopes on, you want to get some halfway decent rings. These Vortex Pro rings are just the bee's knees. I think they're way better than the tallies. So I've got this tally base. It's a 20-minute base, so it's kind of silly for this dude here. but whatever. That's what I've got. So let's see here. Yep. So we're forced into that. Anyway, so we'll get this guy mounted on. Throw a little, just a small dab of Loctite on each of these screws, and then basically wipe most of it off. You're not meant to really, like for me, I don't lock stuff in place with it. I just want to make sure it doesn't back out. Typically, I've already dried these off, but what you want to do with these is take a little isopropyl alcohol and clean the threads off, because there was a number of years ago, and I could be wrong on this, but it was at least my experience that the Loctite, brand Loctite, I get the Permatex or whatever they got at O'Reilly's, but the Loctite stuff, if it had any oil at all, it would not set up. And so we're going to crank that down so it wouldn't set up, because it would have just a little bit of machine oil or whatever on it. So I just made it a habit to clean them off really well with card cleaner, brake cleaner. I just put some, I keep that, just Walmart alcohol handy, and then put it on paper towel and they dry right up. So before you crank all this down, now forward here, you're into the barrel area, so we don't have to worry about that. But back here, on the back side of the action, we want to make sure, see, when I go to do that, it won't, the bolt is now locked in place. So we have to, so if I loosen this up, boom. So what we have to do, and I had this same problem with the old one, or I'm sorry, with the 270, and that has Tally lightweights on it. You got to shave those screws down a little bit. There's really nothing around. You can't get around it. So I have to shave just a smidge off these. You can typically put them in vice grips and bring them and take a file to them. So I'll be right back.
Throwing a party this season? Ditch the stuffy holiday traditions with the Glenlivet Sorry Eggnog. Instead, bring something bold to the table with a rich 14-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey that's sure to get glasses clinking. So seize the season with the Glenlivet. Live original. Enjoy our product responsibly. The Glenlivet 14.
Alright, so it's on the back side there. So we'll just do that. Let's see if we can do it in the vise. It's irritating, and that's not the fault of Tally. That's actually, this action isn't quite thick enough, so it doesn't actually meet that Remington 700 standard, and that's really all it boils down to. Is it's just not shoddy craftsmanship, but there are a couple thousandths off, which is a no-go. Now, this isn't an awesome way to do it, but it works. So sometimes, I don't have a way to chase these threads, so sometimes you gotta kind of force them down in there. That's taken pretty good. So, let's try it. It may not be enough off there. Alright, so that's working. Okay. So we'll do this one. Where are we at here? Damn, 10 minutes, y'all? Well, if you guys are still with me, I appreciate the hell out of it. So, you know, this isn't necessarily the perfect way to do this, but you gotta adapt and overcome, right? So these old Heller files are just, if you see them in a at a junk shop or whatever, buy them up because they're just so good. So anyway, so that hopefully will sort that out. Yeah, that one need to chase just a little bit, but alright, so now we don't get full extension. So let's see where we're at here. So there we go. That's actually quite a lot. So yeah, it just is what it is, I guess. It's like 2 full threads. But anyway, these Heller files are just phenomenal. And you know, like, people say, well, that's not the right way to do that. But the thing is, if it works, it is. I'm not the steadiest person in the world. I do enjoy doing this. You need it quite a lot. Like, that's an enormous difference. But, you know, so we'll push him forward, run him in. Right? Yeah, I still don't think that's quite enough. Yeah, we got a little ways to go, y'all. I honestly think we're going to have to come take a little bit off that other one. I'm going to have to sort this one out. That's pretty good on that front one. Or number 3 anyway. Yeah, so it definitely needs, I don't think it's as much. And you know, this is not the right answer, you know. But the thing, if you called Tally up and you said, yeah, this, you know, these aren't right. They wouldn't be able to do anything for you because they've done this. They've made these screws the length according to Remington standard. Now they might actually be able to, if you told them the length that you need or how much these are too long, then you'd have something to work. They might be able to work with you. So we need to check that bolt. So we're running in. Oh, it needs a little help. There we go. So we're only coming to about 16 inch-pounds. So yeah, we got to come back a little bit more. We got to take a little more off of that. Yep. So we're not quite as tight as we're going to need to be by the time we're done. So we're going to have to be in the, so I've got a little bit of an angle on that. So I can tell that I've got a bit of an angle on my screw here, so I'm going to try to flatten that out. Hopefully that's all it needs. Yeah. These Heller files cut so good. So that one I looked up, that was made in the 40s, I believe, is when that one was made. And I got it for $3 at the Habitat Restore. Yeah, see, that's still locked out, so we don't want to do that. So we'll run him in. See. It's got to be getting close. Yeah. Yep, so now. Alright. So we're about a thread. We need to take about a thread off thereabouts. That was close. Yeah, so if you get a chance getting those Heller files, they're just so good for the money. And most of the time you just get them so cheap. And I'll put a little bit of a round on it so it's easier to get it in there. Please be enough. Hopefully, I don't want to take any more off of it. Damn it. Yeah, it's so close. Try to do some fast forward action on this video. Where are we at? Does that say? God dang, 18 minutes? Well, if you guys are still with me, I'm sorry. So now, so that's pretty good, I think. It is, nothing seems to be touching. It comes all the way back. So basically what we were dealing with is these two screws right here. 1 and 2. So our forward one, so it would come back to about right there, and what it was doing is it was hanging on, you can see that little cocking nub. So it was hanging on that. So it would get to there and it would stop, and then on the next one, you know, I had to take a little bit off that. But we're not getting any rubbing that I can see here. So that's good. It's not hanging up at all. So now I'll torque him down. So this one's 25 inch-pounds. So we'll go to about 20, 22. We'll try it again. And we're all set. No rubbing. So oh, I don't even have those damn screws in there because I was afraid I'd lose them. Yeah. So it looks like that. Oh, you know what? Screw pitch on that. So it's got to go forward some. It's got an extra hole in there. Come on. double check this. We're set. There's that. Come on, Jason. Okay. And go a little bit more. That's about it. So if these are torqued to the right specs, you really don't need loctite. Whoops, sorry. But, you know, it's like cheap insurance, right? So there's that. So to these are the Pro Series, and I wrap everything in blue tape. Like, it's just so much easier to keep stuff together. You can ride on it. It just makes life easy. So these are not serialized. I thought they might be, but they're not. Uses a T25 screw head here. So these are typically, I think it's, yeah, 30 inch-pounds. So this is one thing I like about these guys here. If I can get it. Seeing it tells you what size they are, and then 30 inch-pounds. And then on the cap, it tells you what your cap torque is, which is 18 inch-pounds, which no more than 18, because most manufacturers say that's the max. You only have a couple that SWFA is one, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but definitely Night Force, because I just read the Night Force book when I got that one in. Alright, so it cut off, you know, whatever. So basically I've got this full filled on here. I don't know exactly where I cut off, or not full filled, this signature, old timey guy. And so we've got our base torque to 25 inch-pounds. I was going to see if it actually said on there. It does not. And then these the clamping force here is supposed to be between, in this case it actually says on the scope ring 30 inch-pounds. So we're going to run him to 30 inch-pounds and run it home. I'm going to double check everything. That's pretty good to me. You know, on this they don't have to be extremely level, so you know, you're never going to adjust out beyond 400 or 500 yards, or you're never going to be able to hold over beyond 400 or 500 yards. Some guys are really good at it, but most aren't. But we want to make sure before we attack the scope rings to bring it back down to 18 inch-pounds, because that's what it says on the scope ring. So that's what we're going to go with. And that's why it's important to have some kind of torque wrench when you're doing these scopes, because you can tear them up just too easily with these stupid little wrenches they send. So you want to do a cross pattern like you're doing lug nuts. Always give it 2, and then hit it again, just for good measure. So that's that. So there we go. We can use that. This is the Mauser M96 American straight pull burris signature made in USA scope. Yeah, so we should be pretty good. So I'll get this. I'll take it out and get him zeroed up. I gotta load some ammo for it, but I think I'm gonna try to run the LRX 145, the Barnes. And I might try that in the 7 PRC as well. We're not having a lot of luck with the Badlands bullets. So I've got some 150s here, and by the time you get these to your door, they're $1.50 a bullet, which would be great if they shot. I can't get them to shoot. I've got multiple 308s. I tried them not 6. I just can't get them to shoot. So I've got to call Tally to get a set of screws. So I'll do that. See how they respond to that, and a bubble for this, just so I have it. But yeah, we're all set. You know, I mean, I took my 270 bear hunting one year. I didn't kill a bear with it, but I've killed some other stuff with that 270, so I'm excited to get this one out. I think I probably, being that there's enough distance between there, and it's pretty natural to get to. I think that's like just a good little setup. And those rings right there are just phenomenal quality for what you pay. You can get, I've seen them as low as like 40 bucks on eBay, and they're worth every penny at that. And then you just put them on some kind of Picatinny or a weaver. They'll fit. They are Picatinny rings, so they'll fit a weaver mount. But just get the Picatinny. That way it's good and tight. And when you mount, you always push forward on the ring and then clamp it down. That way you've got that reciprocating recoil lug, and you don't get a shift. But yeah, I think that's actually a sexy little setup, right? I only paid $100 for that scope. It's about a $500 scope in its day. Hopefully it works, because if it doesn't, I mean, I know Burris will take care of it, but I can't get another one. So hopefully it works. The electro dot is pathetic. I didn't buy it for that. But I suppose it would work pretty damn good in a pinch. But anyway, so I want to put this, I have a Trigicon scope coat, and I think it will actually fit okay. And no, I have to get a scope coat for. I like the scope coats. Don't, you know, treat your stuff good, you know, give it a little blankie. But yeah, so that's that. Thanks for watching. I hope I didn't bore you too damn bad. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.